So this is fun. Oh crap, my fix isn't working and now my car's not starting. Good morning, everybody. I don't really want to get out of the tent because there's a million little biting gnats that are swarming the tent. I don't know if you can see them through the camera, but I've got to get out of the tent. My strategy is going to be to run out, take down the tent really fast, and then hop in the car. That was not as painful as I thought it would be. I've got my thermosol running and there's a little bit of a breeze now that I think I got like 3 bites. So not too bad. And that means I can take a moment and make my coffee. If you're new to the channel, I'm Katie. That's my Jeep. And I'm traveling the Americas, and I'm bringing you along with me. Even though the bugs aren't too bad, I'm gonna have to dive inside quick to get in the shade. I don't know what it is about the Arctic sun, but it's hot. I think my coffee's ready. Whew. Turn off. Here's where we are on my map, which is starting to self-destruct a little bit. We have Alaska and Canada, and within Canada, we have the Yukon territory, the Northwest Territories, British Columbia, and Alberta. And we have driven all the way to the Arctic Ocean to Tuktoyaktuk in the Northwest Territories, and we're heading back down, the only way you can go, and are stopped right here at what's called Midway Lake. I have retreated into the car because I have air conditioning in here and it's hot out there if you're not in shade. If you're in shade, it's okay, but in the sun, it's hot. It's 20°C, which is like 70 degrees-ish, I think. I'll put the Fahrenheit up here, which isn't that hot. But when you're standing in the Arctic sun, man, it's hot. There's no shade. I happened to be passing through Midway Lake during the time that they have their once-a-year little music festival here, and that was great. You can queue up the last episode if you want to see a little bit of that. However, sleeping here in my Jeep was not that awesome. It's not because of the loud music, because the music was okay. It was far enough away, and they're not doing boom boom bass stuff. It's fiddling and native singing and drums. It's not, there's no bass. So it was absolutely fine to sleep through the music. But camping somewhere where there's a lot of other people around and no real rules means people are being loud really late at night because the sun is still up. And so there was at 1 a.m. last night, one of my neighbors was running a chainsaw. So I did not get the best night's sleep last night. It's time to hit the road. Aurora. The festival is winding down today, and it's a lot more quiet. They're having a church service in the big tent this morning, and then they'll have some closing ceremonies, and everybody's going home. I looked on several of my mapping apps to see if I could figure out the name of this little mountain range, and it's not named in any of my apps. I'm sure it has a name, but I don't know what it is. If I figure it out later, I will put it up here. But this is a really pretty area, and it gets you into kind of the highlands of the Arctic. And I like it. I talked to a couple of people along the way one person saw a wolf in this area and one person saw a muskox in this area. So I'm keeping my eyes peeled. I haven't seen anything, but I think you got to get lucky to see something up here, but keeping my eyes peeled. There's trash cans right there, and people are leaving their beer bottles. And recycle bins. The bottles are now in their bins. We're at the top of the pass and now have entered Yukon territory. And the reason I'm walking out here is because there's berries, edible berries. But unfortunately, I don't think any of these are ripe. This isn't very ripe, but it's the ripest one I could find. Oh, no. Well, that would be very good if it were ripe. I'm going to keep my eye out as we get to lower elevation and see if I can find some patches of those berries that might be ripe. If I were a muskox, that's where I'd be hanging out. I don't think we're gonna see any muskox. I really want to see a muskox, but it's not likely to happen. I'm at a little lower elevation spot. I'm gonna hunt around for some cloudberries. This one is ripe. They're good. They're like pretty tart. I think you'd want to use them in like jams or jellies. Here's some right here. I think that one. Yeah, maybe that one. Nope. Oh, I lost one. These aren't something that I've ever eaten before. So I'm kind of trying to describe the taste, and they are tart. They have a little berry flavor. I mean, they're good, even though they're quite tart. That's gold. It's one. That's a blueberry. One blueberry. I don't see any others, but I'm looking. That's the first time I've ever eaten cloudberries, and I'm trying to figure out how to describe the taste. I mean, they're tart, but sweet, and they have a taste that's almost like a rose water. Like, it's not fruity. I suppose that roses have fruit, but it's got kind of a rose flavor to it. They're good and interesting, kind of an interesting berry. And yes, I'm just randomly picking berries on the side of the road and eating them. I do have some knowledge of berries and what berries not to eat, so it is not out of my wheelhouse. I'm not a berry expert, and I'm not a Arctic tundra berry expert, but cloudberries and the blueberries are pretty hard to mistake for anything else. We are you're really bouncing around on this road. We are pulling into Eagle Plains. We're gonna camp here for tonight and then see how far we get tomorrow. I've got camp all set up. I have made myself a super easy dinner. Cheese and bread and fruit. That's kind of my go-to because it's easy and I don't have to think about it. And my lettuce all wilted and started to go bad because I haven't been eating my lettuce enough because I was going to have a salad, but that's how it goes. We'll see you guys in the morning. Thank goodness I only needed half a tank. Good morning, guys. It is cold and windy and unpleasant outside. So I just took down my tent really fast and got some breakfast in the hotel and hitting the road. It's not raining at this immediate moment, but it's been raining all night and the roads are gonna be sloppy. I'll be going kind of slow, I suspect. Fortunately, the roads aren't slippery and the dust is low, but visibility is getting worse and worse, and fog is rolling in. I'm just driving in a cloud here. So this is fun. Visibility is really bad. I'm going to stop at this rest area up here because you can hear that little dinging in the background. That's my display flashing fun lights and making dinging noises, which would be freaking me out a little bit more if I hadn't had that already happened multiple times on this trip so far, which means my battery cables are loose and they just come loose on bumpy stuff when I've been going over bumpy stuff for a while. And that's because the Jeep battery cables are trash. The way that the cables clamp onto the battery posts is stupid and inadequate. I'm waiting till I get to a little rest area a couple of kilometers up here because visibility is really poor and I don't want somebody running into me on the road because you could come up on somebody very quickly and not know that they're there till you're running into them. where we're stopped, and there's a lovely view of mountains out there. I only know that because I was able to actually see them on the way up here. Let's see if my fix worked. Okay. I had a moment of, oh crap, my fix isn't working and now my car's not starting, but it's fixed. I forgot that I have a kill switch on the battery and it's remote control, so I can hit a little button. I'll show you. If I hit a little button on this remote, it will completely kill the battery. And I had my keys in my pocket and the button must have accidentally pressed to kill the battery. So I pressed the other one to unkill the battery, and we're good. Now we'll see how long my fix lasts. Visibility is improving a little bit because it started raining. We're a few miles down the road and banging on the battery clamps fixed the issue. I had thought about delaying my departure from Eagle Plains, but then I knew that this weather was going to be happening, so I looked up the weather because I was like, well, what if I delay my departure from Eagle Plains and maybe I'll miss this? And no, it's gonna be doing this for like a week at least, so might as well drive through it now. We're down at lower elevation, so we're out of the cloud, and now it's just really pretty. I mean, it's still raining, so I can't really break out the drone or even put the camera outside, but it's pretty. Territorial Park now, and it's actually astounding that I can see the mountains here, because everything has just been low clouds all day long. You can't see the iconic Tombstone Peak, but you can see the rest of the mountains. All right, guys, we made it all the way back down to the end, or the beginning, depending on how you look at it. And look, there's wild raspberries. They're tiny and not much to them. Looking around to see if I find any more. What a nice little surprise right at the end. Amazingly enough, the windshield survived the entire journey intact. I mean, it could get smashed by a rock in the next 10 minutes, but it made it down the Dempster intact. I'm really happy about that. And I think that's it for today. I've got to figure out where the heck I'm going next besides just south. And I want to thank all of you guys for coming along with me. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, like, comment. It costs nothing and it really does help. We'll see you down the road.